Deputy Patel, Shadow Foreign Secretary.
Mr. Speaker, Iran is the world's leading state sponsor of terrorism, and it's now over 100 days since this conflict began, and yet Iran continues to pose the most dangerous and significant threat to the Middle East, peace and security, and to the interests of Britain and our allies and friends in the region. In recent days, we have seen the most appalling Iranian attack in Kuwait, causing injury and death at Kuwait International Airport, and launched missiles towards Israel. They continue to obstruct the movement of goods through the Straits of Hormuz, seeking to hold us all to economic ransom. They refuse to end their nuclear weapons program. They carry on oppressing their citizens, having butchered thousands already this year. And they continue to sponsor and support terrorist proxies throughout the region, causing bloodshed from Lebanon to Yemen to Gaza. They've shown no interest at all in pursuing peace, and they laugh in the face of sanctions. No one in this House should have any shred of sympathy for the Iranian regime, which has caused so much terror and has blood on its hands. Iran has been the root cause of immense suffering in the Middle East for far too long, in places where it has no business whatsoever. And as the President of Lebanon has said in recent days, Lebanon is not Iran's country. Mr. Speaker, Madam Deputy Speaker, can the Foreign Secretary confirm whether British assets in the region were involved in any interception efforts over the weekend? And what does this latest attack mean for our defence posture in the region? It's all very well for the government to call on Iran to exercise restraint. That has never stopped them from carrying out the hostile attacks that just keep on increasing. So will there be any material consequences from Iran from Britain, like a new wave of sanctions to further up and ratchet the pressure? On these benches, we've been calling for new sanctions to prevent senior figures in the despotic Iranian regime parking their wealth in London, and to ensure that Britain cannot be a sanctuary for enforcers of repression if those linked to the regime seek to flee Iran. So will the Foreign Secretary commit to taking both of these actions? And as I said in the House last week, Iran's terrorist proxy Hezbollah must be disarmed. It has caused immense suffering in both Lebanon and in Israel. We need to see UN Security Council Resolution 1701 implemented in full, and Hezbollah must comply. When I raised this in the House last week, the Minister for the Middle East said in response that it must be the Lebanese government to disarm Hezbollah, and he is absolutely right. But he didn't say what support Britain is actually giving to the Lebanese government now, because we all know that they cannot do this on their own. Is the government going beyond the traditional support Britain has offered the Lebanese armed forces and, for example, offering technical and intelligence assistance? The Foreign Secretary has said nothing in her statement on disarming Hezbollah, so can she tell the House today what the government is doing? And more broadly, Madam Deputy Speaker, we hope the ceasefires in the region can lead to a sustainable end to the conflict without a resumption in fighting. But clearly, we all know this remains incredibly precarious. Specifically on the Iran ceasefire, can the Foreign Secretary update the House on what involvement, if any, the government is having behind the scenes in mediation efforts? Has she personally seen the outline of the apparently close peace deal, or has had any input into it? And has she discussed this at all with Secretary Rubio? Madam Deputy Speaker, the Foreign Secretary has today announced a package of measures regarding the West Bank, Gaza and the 20-point peace plan. We all want to see an end to violence and conflict in the West Bank and in Gaza. And in particular, she's made very important points on aid and the fact that humanitarian aid and support is not getting through. Can she state what else the government has been doing to have critical discussions with the parties involved to see progress in this area? And can the Foreign Secretary tell the House what the changing guidance on change will actually mean in practice, and the practical efforts of these sanctions that have been announced today? She's mentioned asking the Charity Commission to investigate certain charities. Can she tell us what evidence she has that has prompted this particular request? And will she be asking the Charity Commission to investigate charities in the UK that are supporting Iran and terrorism? And on the Palestinian Authority, is the £10 million announced new money or from existing resources allocated? And can she give an update on the steps being taken to reform the PA and stop the pay-to-slay mechanisms? Madam Deputy Speaker, Iran is not alone and is backed by the authoritarian axis that we all speak about too much in this House. The Foreign Secretary has just been to one of those states, China in the whole desperate attempt now for economic crumbs to bail out Labour's disastrous handling of the economy. The House is fully aware of China's role in supporting Iran, including providing offensive capabilities. The FCDO press release during her visit states that she stressed the urgency of reopening the Straits of Hormuz